I know for me, my Catholic faith has helped me through the darkness as I've had to bury pieces of my soul deep in the earth and eventually found purpose to live a life worthy of those I lost. And throughout my life in public service, I've been guided by the tenets of Catholic social doctrine that cuts across all confessional faiths. What you do to the least among us, you do unto me. We have an obligation to one another. We cannot serve ourselves at the expense of others. We have a responsibility to future generations. And that's the charge before us today. And that sense of hope and possibility reminds me of the first time I met Pope Francis in 2013, when I had the privilege of attending his inauguration at the Vatican. When I greeted him, he said, "Mr. Vice President, you're always welcome here." He was really sending a message to the world to put out a welcome sign on the front door of our church. 2 years later, President Obama and I welcomed him at the White House. At that same moment, we shared a sense of hope and possibility together. And for me, it came at a very personal moment, a very tough time in the life of my family. Our son, Bo, had just died a few months earlier. But Pope Francis took the time to meet with my entire family to help us see the light through the darkness. I live in an amazing country. We all live in an amazing country, where an Irish Catholic kid like me from Scranton, Pennsylvania, would one day befriend a Jesuit Pope. But that's who we are as a country, where anything is possible when we care for one another, when we look out for one another, when we keep the faith. May God bless you all, and may God bless America, and may God protect our troops.
Well, that was the Biden speech. This is normally a very public event, and normally the Cardinal is present, but this year it had to be a Zoom event. It's fascinating to me that the Biden camp is just as religiously orientated as the other camp. You know, we're always inclined to think that the Trump campaign and the Trump camp is closer to the King of the North. But in many respects, the Biden camp is closer than the Trump camp.
Yeah.
Because he mentioned the Catholic social doctrine.
Exactly.
And the Democratic Party has a manifesto and a vision which is much closer to the Catholic social doctrine than is the Trump camp.
Yes.
So the King of the North sits in both, and it doesn't really matter who wins.
Yeah.
The ascendancy of the King of the North philosophy can just as well be in both parties. So it doesn't matter at all who wins the election. The issue of prophecy will be fulfilled.
It's quite important to notice that, because it doesn't matter which one will win, the dictates of Rome will be enforced.
Absolutely, and he's on the same page.
Yes.
Biden is more on the page in terms of social doctrine. I just read the Pope's latest encyclical on brotherly fraternity, and I must say that I was surprised. It's about 90 pages long, and I went through it with a tooth comb and highlighted many places. Basically, it's a rewrite of Rerum Novarum on Catholic social doctrine. And if you read it carefully, it sounds so sweet and flowery and loving and accommodating and kind. But it is basically aligned against every tenet of the Bible. Mm. And it is literally against the commandments of God. Yeah. But people won't notice it because the language is so carefully chosen.
It's like the joint document
on the
declaration of justification by faith.
Yeah, we'll look
at that.
Yeah.
This is the same type of language.
The same type.
They know how to disguise. And what was interesting for me, I don't know if it's, maybe I'm seeing something too much in it, but that he specifically said it's an honor to have a Jesuit Pope as a friend. Why would he want to
Why would he
bring
want to say that?
bring
Yes.
out that it's a Jesuit Pope?
Yes. Well, let's look at the next ones.
And of course, the Catholic community and the men and women of the New York Archdiocese answered the call and frankly answered it like nobody else could. In Catholic schools, hospitals, shelters, soup kitchens, and food pantries, you served with the supreme devotion to your fellow citizens. You showed the world the essence of the Catholic faith. I've known about it for a long time. I lived right next to a magnificent Catholic church. As president, I want to thank the Catholic community for the magnificent generosity you showed in America's hour of need. From the very beginning of our republic, Catholics have uplifted and enriched our nation beyond measure. Women like St. Elizabeth Ann Seton founded a movement that created thousands of schools and lifted children out of poverty. And the great Al Smith, the original happy warrior, that's what he was. He was a happy warrior. I know it well. I consider myself to be a happy warrior, but it's not so easy in these times. But he was a happy warrior of American politics. He spent his life fighting for hardworking Americans and battling the anti-Catholic prejudice that you see even today coming out of the Democrat Party. Today, this amazing group continues that proud tradition of faithful service. Your work reminds us of an essential truth. In this country, civil society, and especially our religious institutions, are an essential foundation of American freedom. Our nation is strong because of Catholics, and frankly, to protect your God-given rights, I was recently honored to nominate one of our most brilliant legal minds, Judge Amy Coney Barrett, to the United States Supreme Court, and that was an honor indeed. We will not stand for any attacks against Judge Barrett's faith. Anti-Catholic bigotry has absolutely no place in the United States of America. It predominates in the Democrat Party, and we must do something immediately about it, like a Republican win. And let's make it a really big one. Now more than ever, our nation needs a renewal of the values that this organization promotes, and that the Catholic faithful live out each and every day in peace. We love the Catholic people. We love the Catholic religion. And above all, we respect it greatly. As president, I will always support you in your effort to serve our fellow citizens and to lift up all humanity. I will protect the Catholic Church. God bless you, God bless New York, and God bless America.
Right, so we now have a picture of the view that the world basically has of Catholics and that the president espouses in the United States of America. And yes, they do have humanitarian works, and they do have soup kitchens, and they do many good works. But that is not the issue. The issue lies much deeper, and the people in the world need to know. Now, I myself was raised Catholic, and going through an atheistic phase, I actually became very Catholic again for a short while, until I discovered some things which were very, very disturbing. Not in what they do, but in what they believe and in their history as to how they deal with people that do not believe as they believe.
Yes. Can I just say, that is what's important for me to take out of these, especially Trump's speeches. Well, Biden as well. And like you said, we agree. There's wonderful people, and what they maybe do is wonderful. But he said, we love the Catholic religion.
Yes.
And that is what we want to look at.
So why do people say that if you speak against Catholicism these days, you're a bigot? So let us just continue and see what the real issue is. Now, I don't want to quote from an Adventist source from the beginning, so let's go to the Church of England. And in the late 1800s, what did they believe and why did they believe it?